Good evening. I will now call the meeting of Aggregate Industries Subcommittee to order. The only item on our agenda is the review of the Aggregate Industries 2024 Annual Report. In attendance this evening, we have committee members Councillor Rosignol and Councillor Gamache and myself. We are joined by Councillors Turco, Councillor Peach, Councillor Gould. I would like to note that Aggregate Industries is known as Wholesome, which is the name of its parent company. However, since the special permit remains in the name of Aggregate Industries, we will continue to refer to them as Aggregate Industries. All councilors were provided a copy of the annual report this evening. I will provide an overview of the major areas of the report, which would include blasting, noise and air quality, as well as groundwater and stormwater testing. Would someone please make a motion to accept item 8G?
Move under suspension rules to receive item 8G in tonight's packet.
On the motion, all those in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. The 2024 annual report is over 750 pages, closer to 800, and is quite detailed and includes many technical reports as well as the air, water, and noise test results, which are required by the special permit. I will provide an overview of some of the major areas of the report. The facility is located on 55 Russell Street and has two main operations. It has the quarry operation, which involves blasting, harvesting, and crushing of stones into different sizes for sale to third parties. The other operation at the site is the asphalt batch plant. The asphalt operation involves mixing of stone, sand, liquid, asphalt, and recycled asphalt product to form hot mix asphalt product for their customers. Customers arrive at this facility to have the hot mix asphalt loaded into their trucks for off-site delivery. In 2024, there were 19 blasts during the year as compared to 20 that we had in 2023. The Peabody Fire Department has a representative present at every blast event to monitor safety and adherence to the special permit requirements for blasting. The maximum recorded decibel reading for 2024 was 126.8 dB, which was well below the maximum limit of 133 dB. There was one property damage claim submitted to the Peabody Fire Department by a resident. The Peabody Fire Department reviewed the blast report and concluded that there were no violations. There was also a complaint filed with the Peabody Fire Department which claimed that the pre-blast warning siren was not used. However, the PFD had their representative on site who was able to verify that the sirens were used and that the windy conditions on that day in March may have prevented the resident from hearing it. So, the noise monitoring, I'd like to thank Sharon Cameron, the city's Director of Health, who has provided a memo to this committee, and I would like to thank her for reviewing the report. She reviewed compliance with noise and air quality data attributable to the activities at the quarry and asphalt operations. Noise measurements were conducted in August and November. The average noise levels associated with the quarry activities were at or below the threshold established by the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection. Please note that the special permit requires testing to be performed once in the spring and once in the fall with the quarry in full operation. The measurements were made in 2024 in August and November, and it would obviously be preferred that the measurement be made in the spring rather than August. And this has been communicated with Aggregate. The noise levels at between 9 and 21 styles were within compliance, but they were at the limit for several hours. This has been the case for the last several years, and we've been working with Aggregate to work on some mitigation of that noise level to try to lower it. As part of that mitigation strategy, Aggregate Industries plan to replace a bucket elevator by December of 2024, but they were unable to perform that upgrade due to the lack of materials, or the materials not being delivered were not the correct ones. So the upgrade is scheduled for later this year. For the air quality evaluation of volatile and organic compounds, that was conducted over 3 days in October at 4 locations on the perimeter of the facility. Testing demonstrated that substances that were detected were below occupational exposure and residential reference concentration standards, for which reference standards are available. Evaluation of the semi-volatile organic compounds were conducted over 3 days, the same 3 days, the same locations, and that testing proved to be below the occupational exposure and residential concentration standards as well. Particulate matter with diameter below 10 microns was conducted in October as well. Testing demonstrated that all 4 locations' estimated PM concentrations were below the 24-hour national and Massachusetts ambient air quality standard of 150 micrograms per cubic meter. I'd like to also, now for the groundwater testing and monitoring, I'd like to thank Bill Stansfield, environmental engineer for the Department of Public Services, for reviewing the groundwater and stormwater reports in the annual report, and I wanted to thank him for that. For 2024, the groundwater samples were taken on April 29th, 2024. This is consistent with our recommendation of the springtime sampling to ensure that the best chance of obtaining a representative sample. The test results indicate that no significant change in groundwater quality has occurred at the site since the 2023 sampling round. No concentrations were reported that constitute a reportable condition under the Massachusetts Contingency Plan 310 CMR 40.0000. We had some neighborhood issues in 2024. We held the annual pre-blast kickoff meeting with the neighborhood committee, Peabody Fire Department, Maine Blasting and Drilling, and Aggregate were all in attendance on March 22nd. During the meeting, the 2025 blasting plan was discussed. The 2025 blasting plan calls for approximately, exactly 7 blasts, which is significantly less than the 19 blasts the previous year. It was 20 blasts the year before that. So 7 is a lot less, which makes us somewhat happy. Neighbors raised concerns regarding hours of operation and trucks arriving too early and leaving trucks idling. Aggregate Industries instructs all customers about the hours as specified in the special permit, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Last summer, Aggregate Industries experienced a major increase in business, which lasted approximately 6 weeks, that was attributed to the gas tank removal project in Revere. This increased business caused a major increase in truck traffic on Lake, Lowell, and Russell Street. There were many noise complaints regarding the use of engine braking, also known as Jake braking. This form of braking is intended to be used as an emergency method of stopping a truck, but truck drivers can also save wear and tear on their brakes by using this method. Aggregate Industries, and Rocco Schlese in particular, has warned their customers to not use this method of braking in our residential neighborhoods. The special permit provides some protection for the neighborhood, but we still have a difficult situation. This situation with the engine braking and Jake braking has been going on for years. Aggregate Industries has tried their best to stop their customers from using this method of braking, but to no avail. And through discussions with Aggregate and Jarrett Temple in particular, they operate quarries all over the state. They've informed me that some of the, one of the best methods of preventing this is to have a city ordinance that prohibits the use of engine braking in residential neighborhoods, and this is something that will be pursued outside of the matter we have for today. Rocco Schlese is a new plant manager since Sean Clancy stepped down, and he has done an admirable job. He's been extremely responsive to complaints from the neighbors. We just recently, last summer anyway, we had a complaint about debris and dirt in the middle of Russell Street. Rocco got his street sweepers out there and took care of that problem right away. It was much appreciated. Although this is not a public meeting, I would like to allow for the opportunity for any residents who may want to make any comments. Is there anyone here in the audience who wishes to be heard? Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Eric Lampedecchio, 3 Madison Avenue. In addition to what you've mentioned, Councilor Higgins, there's also been multiple complaints about the smell of asphalt, particularly for me, most notably and most recently on May 9th. That smell leaves me concerned to make sure that the air quality that we're breathing is healthy and safe for our residents, and particularly my young child that I am a new dad. So I would just like the City Council to pay attention to that particular issue as well and look further into it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Eric. And we happen to have here today Jared Temple, who represents Aggregate Industries. Could you also state your name and address for the record?
Jarrett Temple, representing Wholesome. Our address corporate is 35 Village Road in Middleton.
Could you discuss with us the mitigation plan for the noise that we talked about with the earlier about the bucket elevator project and where we're at with that?
Certainly. So we have been planning to replace the bucket elevator, which is worn and making that tick, tick, tick noise that you hear. We had planned to install it in the off-season between late November and March, and the parts that were received on site were incorrect. So from the manufacturer, we got parts that couldn't be used for our particular plant. So that change has not been made. However, I can tell you that our most recent round of testing was completed between April 30th and May 1st, and there are no data points that are above the 10 decibels. So not just the time-weighted average, but all data points are below the 10. So we still plan to make the change. I mean, we have the parts. We paid for them. They're coming. But the most recent results are out, and I'll share them with you.
Well, very good. Thank you for that. That's going to be one of the conditions of the receiving your report is the testing in the spring. We talked about that a couple of times now, so I'm glad to see that that testing is being done, in fact, in the spring. And could you also touch upon, since we had a resident speak about the smell of asphalt, can you speak to the factors that contribute to that smell?
Certainly. And there are several factors that can contribute to odors. Many of them are related to weather. If you have low cloud cover, low ceiling, it'll affect a lot of our operation. You'll hear the decibel level of a blast will sound louder just because the ceiling is low. Vibrations can be felt differently in those kind of conditions. And even our asphalt operations, when there's low cloud cover, it doesn't disperse. So it'll hang low and spread farther. Wind is another contributing factor. Anytime the prevailing winds usually go in the right direction, but sometimes they don't, and it can take air from odors from trucks that are leaving the site, even though they're covered, still smells like asphalt, and that can waft farther than you might think. It can go. We've seen it go half a mile. I would like to share this also. Very recently, we have discovered that there are issues with the liquid asphalt that we're receiving, and the issues are just that is a stronger sounding, or excuse me, a stronger smelling material, and this material is coming from Canada. So we thought initially that we just got a bad load. That happens from time to time. A tanker will come in, 25,000 tons. They fill up their silos, and for 3 weeks or so, that material gets used, and it's stronger smelling, and people who are not used to smelling that, and it's usually a sulfur smell, and it's an H2S. It's always within spec because we check that, but it smells different, and that can have an effect on the community, on anybody who abuts our properties and our operations can smell that. So what we found recently was that it's not just one load that, and it's not exclusive to us, but asphalt producers throughout the Northeast are having the same problem. I've spoken with the DEP. They've been out to 2 of our sites already. And what we're finding and learning from them is that these kind of complaints are coming in all over the Commonwealth. So we had a meeting today, and we're pushing this from our CEO that we're going to be addressing this at the refinery level. So we hope that in the next 30 to 60 days, because that's how long it'll take, to exact a change at that level at the refinery, that it's no longer acceptable. We're not exactly sure what's happening, but we're going to get to the bottom of it and have a change made soon.
Thank you. Do any other councilors have any questions? Councilor Rozignol.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to Aggregate. So you said the DEP has been to 2 of your facilities. Is Peabody one of them, or has not been to the Peabody site?
No, Peabody is not one of them.
Which 2 did the DEP go to, if you don't mind my asking?
Watertown and Weymouth.
And one further question, you said it will take about 30 days. What would be the mitigation that you'd be looking for to change that smell that you're currently receiving from the manufacturer or the distributor?
So there's 2 things that we can do. Well, one thing really, 2 separate compounds. So every time we get a load of asphalt, liquid asphalt, from the distribution point, right, at the terminal, we have what's called EcoZorb added. What EcoZorb is, it masks the smell of asphalt, and you can get it in different smells. You get cherry, a mint, there's options. Problem with EcoZorb is when you use a prescribed amount. If you go above it, it has the wrong effect. It starts to smell more chemical, and it creates another problem. It smells worse than the actual smell of asphalt. The second compound that can be used is called scavenger. So scavenger is different. This creates a chemical reaction. So it actually goes after the sulfur, and it prevents it from binding with hydrogen to create H2S. So we add that as well. It's very expensive, and it's been used predominantly for a couple different places. So what we're going to do now is we learn that we can actually double or even triple the amount of scavenger, and that because it's a chemical reaction, it doesn't act the same as EcoZorb. So in that time, while we're waiting for this change to be made at the refinery level, we're going to be tripling the amount of scavenger we're using. And that's at every site we have in the Commonwealth.
One last question. I know you said that, cloud cover, you can kind of almost anticipate that there's going to be more distribution of either sound or smell. In those days, do you have a mitigation process or program that you can institute? So a day like this, you might know that it's going to, either the sound's going to reverberate farther, more impact, or the smell will. Is there a mitigation that you can do to kind of prevent that, knowing the day that you're going to be taking this product in?
So unfortunately, with our aggregate division, when there's going to be significant cloud cover, we think there might be weather, we will cancel a blast and reschedule it. And we can do that because we can control our inventory. On the asphalt side, there are jobs being done. It's open the plant and trucks come in and pick up the material. From one day to the next, we really couldn't tell you how much our sales are going to be unless there is a major project happening. So for that reason, we don't shut our doors every day there's overcast. It would be too hard to do. But to your question and to your point about a mitigation, there really isn't. So like I said, we will be adding this compound scavenger for as long as it takes for a change to be made at the refinery level. And we're going to be interacting with those in the community that have been complaining, because it is not exclusive to Peabody, I can tell you. From Mr. Lampendecchio's complaints have been few and far between this year. We've been having it much worse elsewhere.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other councilors have questions? Anyone participating in Zoom? All right. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the 2024 annual report? Councilor Rossignol.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2024 annual report with the following conditions. Condition number 1, the notification letter sent to residents regarding the pre-blasting property survey needs to be revised to reflect wording contained in the special permit stating the independent specialist shall submit a copy of the condition survey for each resident surveyed to the homeowner and the fire department. Condition 2, Aggregate Industries to conduct additional noise mitigation efforts to ensure that the 10 decibel increase above background noise is not exceeded for any location for any period of time. Condition 3, groundwater sampling for wells will continue to be taken in the springtime period. This will allow wells to have adequate groundwater table to help ensure that a sample can be taken and analyzed. Condition number 4, noise monitoring measurements must be conducted twice a year in the spring and fall while the facility is operating. All conditions of the special permit issued in 2002 must be met going forward. So moved.
Okay, you heard the motion. Roll call vote?
Councilors Gamache,
Yes.
Rossignol,
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, council members, for your time, and thank you, Councilman Rossignol, for your thoughtful questions. Appreciate it.